What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Michelle Renee from iamMichelleRena.com. And I'm so excited to have you all here back on another Wednesday night for a Tribe of Dope Black Women. Listen, we got a couple of things to talk about tonight. Of course, I want to bring my ladies up from the tribe to have this conversation and just get it kicked off like we normally do. We got a lot that we want to be able to share and really just kind of dig deep into tonight. So, y'all ready? Come on in here. I'm gonna share this live real quick, and then we'll get going. We do have a special guest that I'm waiting to get logged in. We've got some people backstage. We're just gonna rock it out tonight. Let me see if I can't find this picture real quick before I bring my girls up. Because of course the internet has been hot with everything that's going on. And so of course it would behoove me to make sure I'm talking about the most current things. So let me bring the ladies up real quick. We have attorney Tamika Bennett. How are you, Mika?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good, doing good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, sis. Hey, Couture. I see you. And we have Dr. Shaquia Harris in the building. What's up, Quia? How are you?
Hi guys,
With her,
I'm well.
yes, with her 500 plus downloads of the Mindfully Fashion app. That's what's up. I love it. I love it. I love it. We're so excited. We're going to hit 600 before we get to that June 6th birthday because we're going to exceed this goal in abundance. So y'all make sure you download the Mindfully Fashion app. Listen, it wouldn't be the tribal council if we didn't dig deep into current events. So before we bring on our guest panelists, we got to talk about what has been driving the internet crazy for the last day or so, which is Miss Porsha Williams getting engaged to the estranged husband. I'm reading this from CNN because you know I don't watch reality TV. The estranged husband of her Real Housewives Atlanta guest star. So, Mika, you watch Real Housewives of Atlanta? Are you current?
Yeah.
Bring us up to speed on what the dealie is with this, because I don't really know. I'm not familiar with the show. All I've heard is that she broke girl code, which I didn't know girl code existed. But go ahead, bring us up to speed. What has Miss Porsha done this season to cap it off?
Well, apparently, this lady was introduced to the audience as Portia's friend.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, after she was arrested, in Kentucky, they had like a girls' day at the pool, which was at this lady's house. And I don't know, it didn't seem as if they had been like they were friends to me. It seemed as if, because if, for instance, you and I are friends. So like if we
Right.
having a pool party at my house, I'm not like, hey, Michelle, this is my husband Rico. You're gonna be like, oh, I know Rico. Quia knows Rico. Like if you come to my house, we're friends.
Mm-hmm.
So you know my kids, you know my husband, you know pretty much you've been in my house before. It wouldn't be the first time that you
Right.
come. So this was kind of like the first time you show up, you just now finding out who the husband is. So it seemed a little weird to me, but to each their own. I've just come to the realization. One of my high school teachers said that her son worked security in Atlanta on Love and Hip Hop and a couple of the other reality shows. She said they're
Mm-hmm.
all scripted and all fake. Like I've at this point, I don't believe anything.
Right.
So I don't believe that they are friends. I don't believe that Portia is actually engaged to this man. I don't believe any of it. I think it's all smoke and mirrors, to be honest. That's just my
I
personal
can
opinion.
believe that. Honestly, I can believe that it's not a real thing, that it's a hoax. Because I don't care how, even though my husband the day he met me told me he was gonna marry me, that was not open invitation for me to be like, yes, we're engaged. Right? So for me, that's a little bit zealous, whether you I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I
But
don't
see,
maybe
we
I don't believe in love at
operating
first sight. I don't
no, we
know.
operating out of reality. Like we're operating out of regular working people standards. Like rich
Right.
people do this type of crazy stuff all the time. Like it's not anything. You would be so surprised. I've had people who have met spouses that have come in for a divorce that they had this whirlwind romance. They only knew each other for like 3 or 4 weeks, and then they got married, and
Mm-hmm.
they're like, well, this is what I signed up for. And I'm like, well, actually it is, because you didn't know the person and they didn't know you. But
it's a lot when you think about that. I just sent you a message, Quia. Check your message. I'm asking how to get on with a Mac so I can get our panelist on because she's on a MacBook and it's crazy.
She
gotta
can't get
download
on with
Chrome.
Safari. She gonna have to have either Chrome or Firefox because I am
Chrome
on
or Firefox. Got it. Okay. Hold on 1 second. For me, Mika. Okay, so we went to Mississippi State. You know, Mississippi State is a predominantly white university, and this is my experience from being around other people. Other people, don't do that, Mika. Other people, will be best friends, and they will date each other's ex-boyfriends and think nothing of it and wish each other well and be like, it's like super normal. Okay. And I don't even have I sound judgy because I am kind of judging because we don't adopt that principle. We are of the mindset that if I went with you in second grade, you are still by right my property and you don't get to date anybody I know. I don't agree with that or subscribe to that. For me, the only person who's off limits for you dating is my current husband. Okay? That's the only person that's off limits. If you want to date my baby daddy, that's your business. Okay? Me and Keela had a long conversation about this too yesterday because she was like, I don't know, princess. My thing is, what didn't work for me may actually work for you. Okay? That may be your person. And who am I to block your person from y'all building a life together? I don't agree with people being like, oh, you can't date.
That was on the episode of Sex and the City where they had like a party where you brought your ex and then the exes ended up going with somebody and then people like
they had
jealous.
A name for it too. It was really weird. They had a name for it too. But I was like, and it really just depends because I have exes that I'm not, well, I don't really have a lot of exes I'm still friends with, but I have a couple of exes I'm still friends with. But we don't have any kids. We've never been married. There's nothing tying us together for me not to be like, oh yeah, he could date my homegirl. I'm not with him. I have no interest in him whatsoever. So I don't care who he dates, right? But some people really get like perturbed by and be like, you cannot be with now friends. There is no way in the world. I don't care if Mika is long gone. I can't date Rico. I just can't because I'm not comfortable with it. It would be weird for me because every time I look at him, I'm thinking of all the memories I have with him and my friend. Okay. But I don't know Mika's high school boyfriend. So if I randomly meet him and I'm single and he's single, what keeps me from dating him?
But see, this is the thing, like people that I dated in high school, I mean, they weren't loyal in high school. So I really wouldn't expect them to be like super
that
loyal.
Part.
Like
that part.
Now, like it would make no sense.
That part.
I don't know how to process it because the thing of the matter is that, you know, if we're not friends, I owe you nothing. But
That's
what
right.
makes the situation a little more messy is apparently Dennis and him are friends.
Yeah, because they said Fallon said that's how her and Porsha met, is that Simon and Dennis introduced them to each other.
Right.
See, it's too many moving parts for me, for my comfort level. But honestly, for me, it has nothing to do with feeling like some kind of girl code is broken. It's just I wouldn't be comfortable with it for me. I'm gonna bring Stephanie up. Stephanie is our guest panelist tonight. Stephanie is the CEO of She Blends Natural. She's also a nurse and a doula, y'all, and a brand new mom for the second time around. Hey, Stephanie, how are you?
Hey, I'm fine. Oh my God.
That's what happens when you own a business, okay? Booked and busy, baby.
Oh my God, now I done lost it.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you guys?
Doing good, doing good.
Oh,
Listen,
I lost y'all. I can't find
we can still see you.
You're still on here, so it's probably you probably need to hit whatever
Oh my
you
god.
went in to find us. Did you did you use Firefox? What did you use?
I don't know. I had just downloaded.
Oh well, you need to click on that icon and we'll be back. Yeah.
Hey,
Can you see us now?
I see
Hey,
you.
girl.
How
How
y'all
are
doing?
you, Stephanie? We are talking about Porsha and her new engagement and just this whole thing because I don't watch reality TV, but I've seen it. It's all on CNN. Like they all in this woman business.
She living her best life. I see the post. I don't know the story though.
I think it's fake.
Tamika and Quia think it's fake. I think it's her business, so it really shouldn't matter. But basically, she got engaged to the ex-husband, or they're saying estranged husband, because the divorce was filed for like in January, something of that nature, of one of the guest stars on the Real Housewives of Atlanta show. Who Tamika also just shared that the husband, her ex-husband, and this current
Her
fiance,
boyfriend, her baby daddy.
her baby daddy.
But he is her ex-fiance too.
Yeah, but he not her
Yeah.
husband. I'm just
No.
Ex-fiance, baby daddy is also friends with this person. It's just a lot. It's too many moving parts for me. What is your thought on dating a friend's or an associate's ex, Stephanie?
The associates, I don't think it's a big deal, but a friend, I can't see myself dating my friend's, significant other. Like you said, the ties. Like I'm gonna have the memories of you with my friend. Like I couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
That's how I feel. It's just like, for me personally, it's a little uncomfortable for me. But it's not because it's like I would actually be okay with somebody dating my ex because I don't have any ties to him.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't see myself being with a friend, especially somebody who just broke it off with somebody else. That's for me, that's a bit much. But
it depends on the level of friendship, because I know sometimes your friend come to you with, concerns like, my man ain't doing this. How am I gonna give you advice about my ex? I don't think I could do that. Even if it's mine, like how am I gonna give you advice as a friend how to handle my ex? But stuff, it wouldn't matter, but something, it depends. It's the level.
I agree.
Like
Jesus said that in the background too. It's the level of friendship.
Yeah, it's like a Suge, Avery, Sealy, and Mr. situation.
Oh my God, that was polyamory, and we didn't even know it.
Man, every time I watch The Color Purple, I learn something that I didn't learn the other times I watched.
Blair says that's a violation, so she does not agree or subscribe to dating your friend's ex. Yeah. My thing is,
it's a little off limits for me.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't date a friend's ex. However, I don't care if you date mine because I don't have any investment in them.
Yeah, that's true. But as a friend, like how you give your friend
See, that's the thing. We keep saying friends, like
if it's associates,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like me and you, Michelle, we're friends. I have 5 friends. There are a lot of people I know. But those 5 friends, no. But somebody that I met in college that we had a class together and we shared notes, like we ain't friends.
Yeah.
Your classmates.
Somebody I talk to every day, I don't think I could. It's enough for me.
Going back to those others though, Mika, we have heard and seen situations where siblings, like one sister married and was like, it didn't work out for me, and then this other sister married, and I'm like, I know white people who have done this, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Me and my sister, like, we joke about this, like people that used to be in my DM now in her DM, like we like, how you at one point you liked me, like how you like my sister, and we didn't date at all, but my sister can't see herself dating them just on the simple fact that they was once interested in me.
Right. Absolutely. It's just weird. The whole vibe is weird, and I don't even know how to describe it, like, because I don't subscribe to it, but it's just a weird vibe. Because like you said, I'm definitely not gonna go to that person who I perceived as a friend and ask them advice about their ex-lover. I'm not gonna do that because that's just weird. But for a person to feel comfortable, it's like, oh, you gonna ask me about what he like? I think you'd be better off asking him. Don't ask me. I can't tell you because he nasty and you may not be ready for that.
My God.
You might not want to hear the nasty things he's into if you're not into those
look,
things also.
now look, that is all messy. See?
See?
It's a messy situation.
It gets messy. But listen, it's a perfect segue to a discussion that was on your page probably like 2 weeks ago, right? Maybe a week ago, where somebody was like, you posed the question. I think it was you that posed the question, Stephanie.
I did. It was a status I posted.
Yes. I'm trying to find it if I can.
I'm looking for it too.
But it was a conversation starter, y'all, where you're like, whoa, this is something to think about. What are we thinking about here? Let me see if I can't find it and pull it up to share this.
I said, it's crazy how your vagina will tell you when a man is not good for you. And that's the truth. I really believe that because you'll know.
Real talk. You will know. Oh gosh, what did I just do? Can y'all see me?
Yeah,
but you're frozen. Well, now you're moving.
Okay, my
computer
screen just went black. Okay, I don't know what just happened. I'm unplugging stuff. It just went black. Let me see if I can keep it going. Hold on. I did not hit the back button.
Oh, we lost her.
We lost Michelle.
It's going to be back shortly.
Deidre's pick it up, Mika.
Okay. Hold on. So I didn't see the status, but you said that the status was concerning your vagina indicating that person is not correct for you.
Correct.
And how? I'm not a medical professional, so I was
thinking, the first thing I thought of was saying like STIs or
This thing just kicked me straight out. Like the whole computer just shut down.
Welcome back.
God. Thank you. I'm so glad y'all still there. I got scared. I was lost. I felt alone. My anxiety went through the roof real quick. Ooh. What I miss?
You might be leaving again. Okay, you back.
Lord, please don't say that. What I miss, Mika? Am I back? Okay.
Nothing. We were talking about how the status, because I said I wasn't a medical professional, so I don't know, like in what ways your vagina could indicate those things. And Quia was just about to say STIs when you came back in.
Go for it, Quia. Thank you. I'm back. Sorry.
That's a point, but at the same time, it's a lot of things that could be off. Like, it's not just from a medical point of view. Like, it could be from everything. Like,
I'm listening because I don't know.
Yeah, it's more than just a medical. Like, yeah, of course, if you get an STD or something like that, or anything that's off. So, of course, it's telling you that he not for you, and because you know what you do and you can't keep track of what he do. But at the same time, like
it's like you're beating around the bush and not want to tell us, because what is anything? I need to know it's anything.
Anything in the sense of
this. Don't be shy. You the Yoni Goddess. You gotta talk about this.
No, this rated R. I can talk, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. This is free space. Let me not put up nothing, child, because the way they just kicked me out, I don't want to touch nothing. But advise, I'm gonna put the explicit advisory banner across just so they know. But you go ahead.
Yeah, like some people be forcing stuff with certain people, like guys, when it's not there, and it's not there because she gonna tell you it's not for you. It don't do what it's supposed to do. It don't work how it's supposed to work. And you hear me?
Mm-hmm. I said, because normally people are in their head, like you already got it in your head, in your intuition that is not right. So that's why that's not going to perform.
Yeah. So people sit there and try to force it and try to make something work with something that's not working.
Right.
God, I don't know. Females, we just I can't speak for every female, but most females, they so attached with like their heart and stuff. They don't really, see what's inside of me. Like, am I really clicking with this person? Am I not clicking with this person? And most of the time, she'll be able to tell you if you're clicking or not.
Right. Because your body responds to people in different ways, from your pheromones that you give off to the way that you receive a person sexually, or if it's discomfort. If it's discomfort every time you with a person, you might want to look into that. You might want to explore. Y'all might want to go to the doctor together and have a conversation and see what's going on. And Mika laughing. I think we shy away from having honest conversations about vaginal health and all the different things related to it. But I remember sharing a post in the Martin's Always Right group that really kind of touched on all the different things that's going on with your body or could be going on with your body with different responses and the way that things are happening. Or even talking about male hygiene, from them shaving and taking care of themselves and how their hygiene ultimately affects you too when you're intimate with that person. If you're having sex with somebody, their hygiene matters.
Yeah, I said about that too. Like, guys not going to the dentist and having oral, like that's a big deal. That throw a lot of stuff off, and people not, when the last time you been to the dentist?
Oh, I asked that on the first day. Do you get your teeth cleaned every 6 months?
Right. Are you an avid flosser? What's your brushing routine?
Every day.
What kind of toothpaste are you using? What kind of stuff are you putting in your body? What do you eat? I notice if you only eating junk food, like what? You don't got no healthy eating habits. What's going on with all that stuff matters?
A lot of females think it's them, and it's him.
It's him. And I think that was the whole point of that status, is that it ain't you, sis, all the time. Sometimes it's them.
It's him.
And being able to understand and have that conversation and be an advocate for your body and be like, let's talk about this, because I've never experienced this particular issue and now I'm experiencing it. And the only new variable is you. Let's talk about it. And not being afraid to say, hey, this is an honest conversation we got to have about our health, because it is your health. You only get one vagina. You only get one lifetime to use it. And I think sometimes, I know for men, a lot of men's takes on things and their mindset is related to pornography. Okay. They want to base what they believe about a woman's body off of what they see some very rare human do with tricks with their body that we don't do in the regular sector of humanoids. That might not be a word. I don't know if a humanoid is a word. Look at Quick's face. But as humans, we don't have bionic vaginas. Okay. We have regular ones. We don't have this thing that can be abused, mistreated, and done all these kind of ways. Most of us are very sensitive and can only use certain things or even wear certain kinds of underwear. And I'm like, that's important to share with a person, because if a person's only mindset is somebody that they feel comfortable kind of mishandling in a sense, then that's a whole different conversation. It's a humanoid is a word. Yeah, girl, smart. Yeah. But I think that's important. And I think that a lot of times I talk a lot about women being free and liberated and free to do whatever they want to do with their bodies, because it's your body. You can do what you want to do. I also subscribe to having conversations about being honest about your body and not being afraid to tell people what you desire and what you don't desire. Let me see what's in the private comment. Yeah. Deidre says shades of gray, like that 50 shades of gray type interaction. And it's nothing wrong with doing that if that's what you're into.
She wanted, though, huh?
That's what she wanted. Mm-hmm. But he also took her to the doctor. He also made sure she was okay and saw what she was comfortable with and was like, hey, when the last time you been to the dentist? All that kind of stuff. And it gave a good indicator of the type of conversations you need to be having with people. If you are a person that wants to have random interaction with people, that is your business. Mm-hmm. The encouragement that comes behind that is do it safely with whatever you're doing. Whatever you decide to do. Go ahead.
I was just saying, have you guys ever read the book called Queenie? No. Well, Queenie was allowing people to totally abuse her vagina to the point where she had to be at the doctor, and they thought wanted to do a rape kit on her.
Mm-hmm. Because it had been abused.
Yes.
It had been abused. And it's things that you can do to repair yourself, which is why we brought Stephanie here tonight, because she's going to share some tools that are not just trends. People think they're trends, but these are things that came back from our ancestry, from our ancestors, and things that they use for healing after childbirth and all those types of things that we a lot of times miss out on because we're getting caught up in either trends or we're so worried about what other people are going to think about what we do. But the biggest goal is to take care of yourself and to know and be equipped with the tools to do so, and know that these things that are being introduced are not being introduced in a new fashion. So Stephanie, you want to take a little bit and talk about She Blends Natural and Yoni steaming and all the different pieces that go with it?
Of course. Steaming. Because I know it's like a new trend now going on with the Yoni steaming and stuff, but this has been going on for centuries, way before my time at least. It's basically where a couple herbs is mixtures. You can steam according to whatever issue you have. You don't even have to have an issue to steam. It's suggested that you steam like at least once a week. You can add that to your self-care regimen. You do that once a week to keep everything flowing and balanced. If you do have an issue where you have reoccurring yeast infections, heavy cycles, short cycles, I customize steams also according to what you have. And you do that also. Sometimes I amp it up until you do it twice a week. But for the most part, for low maintenance, just to keep everything flowing the way it is, you steam once a week.
What are some of the benefits of steaming? Tell us a little bit about, give us a little history lesson, if you don't mind, to how did steaming originate? What is it?
Well, females, hormones are big for us. Like hormones, if that's imbalanced, everything is imbalanced. Like you have headaches, you have those cramping cycles, those long cycles, short cycles, PCOS. I can go on. It's like a lot of stuff that we have. But back in the days, they had the older women, which were the midwives, which is what they would call they do house calls. They would come in with herbs and it originated after birth. So once you have the baby or whatever, they'll put the steam all together and they'll sit you over a pot. That's how it used to be done back in the days. Now it's more fancy where you have the seats. You see it over there. The seats that you can just place right on top of the toilet and you do it from the comfort of your home. Now they have steaming spas where you can go in and actually get steaming done. But it's been done forever. You just boil the herbs. You can find these herbs right in your cabinet, to be honest, like rosemary, oregano. Those are some of the big main ones. The lavender is really good for healing and soothing. And it makes sense because when you think about it, you drink chamomile tea for relaxation. All that's included in the steams also. And all it does is goes into your uterus. You'll probably feel contracting. like a cramp, a mild cramp, but it just lets you know that it's, doing what it's supposed to do. And people say, how does steam, sitting over the steam, how it affects your body, but your uterus controls like your hormones, to be honest, like everything is in there. So those steams go inside of you, affects your whole body, your bloodstream, your mood, everything. So that's pretty much the steams.
I know when we were talking a few months ago, you told me that you started steaming when you were like 12 years old, right?
I said I should have started steaming. I started steaming after I had my baby, my first child. That was like going on 4 years ago. But I've always seen, like, the women in my culture, because this is like remedies from my grandmas, my aunts and stuff, and it's passed down. I'm Haitian, so we've been doing this forever. Like, this is not new to us. Like, the trend is starting now, but Haitians, like everybody could tell you, Haitians been doing this forever. They call it the bucket because that's how we used to do it back in the days. Like, you just boil a pot of water with the herbs and you sit over the bucket and it steams. Yes, I should have started doing it like back when I was 12 because I started my cycle really, really early. So that's an imbalance, to be honest. Like, now that I think about it, and researching all the stuff that I researched, the average, I had my first cycle at the age of 8. That's not normal. So from there, you could see that I was on a trend of, imbalances and stuff. But, you don't know. You just go to the doctor. Because I was going to the doctor. No, I didn't even tell my mom, to be honest, when it first came, because I didn't know what it was.
Right.
Conversations with you, especially at 8 years old. Like, nobody thinking that an 8-year-old is going to get their cycle back then. Right. But yeah, they've been doing it forever. I started for postpartum.
Postpartum, got it. What are the benefits? I know you talked about the hormonal imbalance. Does having the steam or doing the steam, does it help with pH balance and keeping that intact? Is that one of the benefits?
Go over the list. It's a lot. It's a lot because I kind of write as much as I can. It reduces like heavy menstrual cycles, the cramping. It, like, after you give birth, the healing process, it helps. Like if you get stitches and stuff down there, it helps everything heal. And as a doula, we promote, like, the natural way. Not saying that, giving birth vaginally is the natural way, but, in a sense of, if you go through the process the way your body's supposed to do it, you naturally tear sometimes, You don't have to go in and get cut. Like, they do the episiotomy is where they cut you to, open it up so the baby can come out. But if you're pushing, you can naturally tear. I naturally tore. So it helps all that healing process. This time when I just had this baby, I bounced back so quick. I had to tell myself, slow down. Last time I was talking to you, I was pregnant. I didn't have a baby. Yeah. But this was a smooth process. Like, in like 3 days, I was like, I had to tell myself, I just had a baby. You need to sit down.
Right.
I was up. So
now, how soon after giving birth did you do the steaming?
Right when I got home. So 3 days.
Okay. So question, as we're talking about Yoni health and we're really asking the hard questions, because I know this was a concern that I had prior to using your Poom Poom bar, which I don't know if you got one close by.
I got everything.
Yes, the Poom Poom bar is the truth, y'all. Y'all don't even understand. It's like water. That's the only thing I can liken it to, is it's like water. But when people ask questions, they wonder, are these things safe to use if you are extremely sensitive, if you are a person who cannot put anything there? Are these things safe? The soaps and the pearls, all these things, are they safe to use? And essentially, without giving away your secret ingredients, what's in it and what makes it safe? Because normally when we talk to people about, Yoni health, they say all you need is water. Just put water on it. You're good to go. So what makes it do what it does? Because I can tell you, I've been using your soap probably for about 8 months, 6 months,
something like
it's
that.
about
You
six,
in love.
about 6-7 months, and I've never been irritated, not
Yeah.
once.
You know, a lot of people say natural. That's the big thing. Everybody call themselves natural, and I don't use nothing. Like, I literally don't use any chemicals at all in my products. That's why it's rare. You know, you can have allergic reactions to certain herbs. You can be allergic to chamomile. You can be allergic to lavender. You can be allergic to things like that. But for the most part, you know exactly what's in it. You can read it.
Right.
That's how I consider, like, when I pick my products and stuff, I wanted to say 100% that product, one word. I'll do the mixing.
Yeah.
So that's what I use. Like, my Yoni soaps, like the main ingredient in that is shea butter.
Okay.
I use all natural shea butter from Africa. So it's like safe for majority of everybody. That it's rare to have a reaction with shea butter. This one I use tea tree. This is the main oil for this one. So also I put tea tree in all my Yoni bars because tea tree is a natural
Bacteria fighter.
yeah, so it helps with all that. So it'll do what it's supposed to do. As far as not using anything down there, yes, inside the vagina, no soap, water. But outside, you have to clean it. You have to clean it because you sweat, you do all that stuff. I do hear people say that a lot, and that's inside the vagina. You do not use any soaps. That's what causes all the infections, the BV, the everything that people have going on. You're not supposed to put fragrance and stuff inside of the vagina, but around the vagina, it needs to be washed. Like,
right. That's like when back in the day you would see the commercials for like the Summer's Eve, the douches and stuff like that, and that stuff does not belong in your body. Like, you shouldn't be putting that stuff in the body. Now, I do have a question in the comment about herbal suppositories. Do you make them, and are they of good use to deal with, I'm assuming, maybe like bacterial vaginosis or dealing with issues with yeast infections? Do you make the herbal suppositories, and are they good for that?
Before I started researching, you're probably talking about the pearls, because that's you insert the pearls, and a lot of people was indifferent about the pearls, saying that it caused you to have BV and infections. I'm very specific with everything, and I'm big on follow instructions. So I tell people the pearls are like a big detox. And I say, if you want to detox from your ex and your past relationships, you use the pearls. That's what I say about my pearls. And basically, you insert it in. I have 3 pearls that comes in a one cleanse. So you would do 1 pearl for 24 hours, and then you take it out. And you leave it in for the whole entire, because you're doing a detox. I don't suggest pearls to everybody. It's not for everybody. Like, it's only if you have like you're the type of person that gets BV often, something like that. If you are a person that has yeast infection after yeast infection, you go to the doctor, because all the doctor do is give you an antibiotic.
Right.
And that antibiotic kills everything.
Good and bad.
And then you'll see a week or 2, you're back at the doctor's office for it again, because now you have BV. Now it's fishy down there. So I always tell people, that's when I suggest the pearls. You don't use the pearls every single month. You don't want to detox your body like that. So I give specific instructions: 7 days, no sex whatsoever. And that one, particularly, I always say, when you're detoxing, you don't want to introduce any new bacteria. So that's why I give the orders of no sex for the whole 7 days. Technically, you can, you detox for your 3 days, and then you can go back to doing whatever. But a lot of people fail in that sense. Oh, the pearls didn't work for me. Oh, I had a yeast infection. Yes, because you just detox everything, just like you would do with the antibiotics that they give you. And you go back to that same person that gave it to you, the guys that we were talking about, and you reintroduce that all the way again. Now you're cleared from everything. You just put it right back in you. Like,
absolutely.
you get the purpose.
Another question was, it says, we would suppose that a healthy vagina has a lot to do with healthy foods. Is that true? And what are your thoughts?
That's true.
What kind of foods help to increase vaginal health?
Fruits, of course, like the blueberries, oranges, what else?
Would you say queer?
I just thought I'd lie. Antioxidants.
Yep, antioxidants. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The oranges.
Absolutely. What about pineapples? You know, it's like this big myth that pineapples makes your yoni more palatable.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Pineapples are more in the category of like the aphrodisiac. So of course, like the oysters too. If you eat oysters, that helps with that. So I put that in the same category. You want like the meats and stuff, you will want to eat more salmons. You want to eat more green leafy vegetables like spinach, the quinoas, for like the, what is it called?
For your grains or your yeah.
So diet, and always water, always
water. I think that a healthy diet is gonna help with all of that, because it's gonna help properly cleanse you, because eating leafy greens gets your body flowing and makes everything come out that's not supposed to be in there. It helps you to do what you need to do. Water is gonna be a good purifier. It makes sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. But also thinking about exercise coupled with that too is going to affect your vaginal health, doesn't it?
Yep.
You don't get out the clothes.
What'd you say, Quiz?
Girl, I keep forgetting I'm not on mute. If you don't get out of the clothes in an adequate amount of time.
Lesson learned. Honestly, that happened to me because I was like, I did my workout. I went and fixed breakfast for lunch, breakfasts and things like that, and lunches for the kids. And then instead of going straight to the shower like I would normally do, I was like, okay, let me answer a few emails, which turned into 2 hours. And I felt awful afterwards because my body was like, it doesn't do damp. Yonis don't do damp.
Cotton underwear.
And people will say crazy stuff because it's like, oh, my panty game's so strong. Or no, you need some cotton down there. Because that other stuff is not breathable.
Put your granny panties on home and work out in them. But I honestly, I mean, I don't like wearing underwear when I work out. And so I just wear my leggings.
Honestly, you're not supposed to, because the way the workout clothes are made,
it has a seat sewn in there. So,
and if you ain't going nowhere, I say go without at all. If you anywhere, let it breathe.
You're right.
I think we have. I wonder if I feel like we've been kind of indoctrinated in a sense that we feel like we have to constantly have on panties and stuff like that. And then I realized I'm like, hold on. I'm in my house, in my 4 walls. Why am I wearing? And my husband even told me, he was like, if they're uncomfortable, why are you wearing them? Yeah. Who told you had to wear them? Like, he's like, you don't have to wear them. Nobody's going to bother you. No one cares if you don't have on underwear in your house. Like, no one's watching you. He's like, if I had been working from home for a year, you think I'd be wearing underwear? I was like, absolutely not. That makes perfect sense when you think about it. Another good question. Some Couture said panties are so overrated. I think all the women hold a consensus is like, if we ain't got to wear them, we ain't wearing them. Another good question that I was going to ask you, Stephanie, is your thoughts on the Diva cups, pads, tampons, the Flex little disc or whatever. When we're talking about yoni health, we know sticking random things in there is not a smart idea, right? But what is the most, the least invasive and something that won't affect your pH when it comes to using those different things? Because we've learned about the formaldehydes and all the different things that they're putting in tampons and pads that are not natural. So a lot of us are gravitating toward either using cups, menstrual cups, or L pads, or the L tampons, or things like that are more natural. Shed a little bit of light on it for us to help us understand what's the healthier option for what we should be using for our yonis.
You do want to pick something that's organic, which is the L Pass. But now I've been gravitating more towards the Diva Cup. So I've seen lots of benefits in that because it helps with cramps too. If you can, I get it. Seemed like at first I was hesitant. I'm like, I can't put this in there, and how this don't fit, and this don't leak all over. And honestly, you don't even bleed as much as you think you do. Like as a pet, like when you put it on compared to a pad, I look at the pad, I'm like, oh my God, it's so much blood, but it's so tiny. Like you can literally leave it in all day and it won't fill up. You know, like it's a mind thing.
It is.
The Diva Cup, everybody at least should try it before you judge it.
You know what? I was very reluctant at first. I even did a review on the Honey Pot menstrual cup. And honestly, that particular cup wasn't for me. As much as I love to support Black businesses and things like that, the design of the cup didn't work for me. Okay. It was difficult to come out. The suction was too strong. It literally felt like it was ripping my whole cervix. I was like, this is not for me. But a friend girl of mine put me on to the Flex Cup. And they're like, every company is developing their own now. But that Flex Cup for me has the right amount of security to it. It doesn't loosen up. They come in the multiple sizes or whatever. The other thing was the loop to take it out was so much simpler.
You just
versus feeling like I was yanking my whole everything out. But I did not think when I first tried it that I was gonna be comfortable using. I was so afraid. I still had on my straight out the hospital. I call them Spishacks pads. It's like 4 feet long because I was so afraid. And then I realized I was like, you don't even need that
at all.
Oh my! You don't need anything. So I was blown away. So ladies, if you have not tried a Diva Cup, a Flex Cup, or anything of that, get to know your body because you need to be in tune with yourself before you use it. Don't go in blind. Get in tune with yourself and try it because it gives you so much more freedom. Now, I got to shout out my line sister, Crystal Mead Healy, for putting me on because she was the one who was like, sis, I promise you, once you try it, you'll never go back to anything else. And she did not lie. Like, I'm a terrible cramper. Like, I'm the person who lays in the bed for 2 days, like under a heating pad and a weighted blanket because I'm so uncomfortable. But between my steaming and then my Flex Cup, that Diva Cup, I'm straight now. I could go, I'd be working out. I never thought I'd be the chick that could work out on a cycle because I'm able to manage it in that way. So I think it's so many things about our bodies that we miss because we've either been misinformed or we're too embarrassed to ask the questions about it, which is really why I wanted us to have a discussion about this, because so many people are afraid to talk about their vagina like it's a bad word. Like, it's not a bad word. It's not disgusting.
Ask 1,000 questions. I go to the gynecologist. I want to know what this is. I'm asking 1,001 questions.
And you're a nurse. And the fact that you're a nurse and asking all those questions, like, that's critical because we need to know also so we can be empowered. We also need to know our body so that when something doesn't feel right, we can detect it and say, hey, I felt this or this, felt weird. Now, it's a little bit different when knowing our body, like doing our breast exams and stuff like that. You could feel a lump. You can't really feel a lump per se in your uterus or in your cervix or things like that. But you know when something is off with your vaginal area. You know when something is off in that area to be able to say, you know what? I've been feeling a pain, or I've been feeling this different thing, or my cramps have been crazy, or all of a sudden I have nothing, no cramps, no nothing. These are all signs that we need to pay attention to so that if something changes, we're able to detect it and not kind of like be left out there to our own devices to figure it out. I want us to be able to have conversations. And I talk to my girls all the time to where they feel comfortable asking questions because my mama was just like, just don't let nobody touch it. That's all I'm gonna tell you about it. Don't you let nobody touch it. I'm like, it's got to, if it's that important, it got to be more to it than that. So can you give me a little more details? Like, what do I do with it? What does it do? Like, how does it work? And I know people who did not know anything about their vagina until it came time to have a baby. And at that point, it's too late. you finna have to prepare to push one out.
A
Those conversations happen too late. So we have to have conversations. We didn't even talk about the trauma that is associated with having sex if you're not aware with what goes on with your body. Right? If you don't know that you could potentially have an orgasm through having sex and that something may happen or it may cause you to feel a different way, then you don't know how to respond to that. I think those are conversations that we have to have.
It's funny you said that because a lot of women have never ever experienced the orgasm, like ever.
Yep, that's sad.
That's sad.
I don't even have another word. That is so sad. Like, sorry to those women to not have been able to experience that. Because the sadder part about that is that you can get yourself there. You don't have to have somebody else to make that happen for you. And at some point as a woman, you have to be in control of that to say, you know what? I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm comfortable with my body. Let me know my body first so that when I bring somebody else in this situation, I can teach them or tell them how to activate my body. Because if you don't know, how do you expect some rank stranger, even if you are dating, to know about your territory and your body? How do they know how to activate what's supposed to be going on with your body? So I'm excited about that. Uh-oh, we got somebody else coming to the stream. What's up, Blair? How are you? Blair coming in, y'all. Blair must have a question because as soon as she gets her camera together, we're gonna bring her on screen. But I think it's important for us to have conversations about that. What if you were sharing, because I know now you have a daughter, Stephanie, who is absolutely adorable. She's the cutest. All of her names are brown. Oh, I just noticed that. Yeah. Every one of her names are brown. Like her first name, her middle name, and her last name are all brown. Yep. That is beautiful. Mahogany Hazel Brown. Like her name is brown. It means brown. I was looking at that. I was like, that is so crazy. Hey, Blair.
Okay.
We are talking to the Yoni Goddess. You must have a question.
Do I have a question? No, I don't have no question. I'm just listening. Hey, y'all.
Hey, girl. Hey.
I'm trying to find a good connection. You know, I'm in the country. So.
Oh, Lord. That is true. That is true.
I'm trying to find a good connection. I'm just listening to y'all. I want to go back to this conversation about the vagina knowing about a man. I'm curious about that. I'm trying to figure that part out because I want to know, Stephanie.
What?
As far as I think we came to understand is that your vagina tells you when people are responding well to you. And like when it's not responding well, that means something's either out of sync or some conversations need to take place. Something's not happening right. And really it leads back to communication. So if your vagina is responding negatively to somebody, either first things first, a conversation needs to take place. Hey, how you doing? My Yanni is not pleased with you, so we need to talk about it. And here's what's happening. Now, the sad thing about it is most men aren't mature enough to have that conversation. A lot of them are not ready for you to come to them and say, hey, I was doing good before I met you, before I became intimate with you, and now I'm not doing so good. So let's talk about it.
They never think it's them.
They never, but you know what? They go to the doctor less than anybody else in the world.
Yep.
And they never think it's them. So that can be really problematic. So it's like, come on now, like, how can you not think it's you? I know you don't want to think it's you, but I go to the doctor and I'm getting checked out consistently throughout the year. You never go to the doctor, so who knows what's going on with you? We need to have a conversation. I think that's why we also have to have more conversations before becoming intimate with people.
Yep.
That should not be a scary conversation. I remember growing up in the 90s and when the HIV crisis really, really hit hard more in our community, we saw all those commercials on BET, right? About asking your partner this and talking to your partner about that thing. And so where it became this thing where it was almost a little taboo for people to ask questions, right? But you should not be afraid to ask a person their status, right, when the last time they've been tested. What does their STD panel look like?
Can I see your
Can I see your results?
Yeah, I need to see your
Can
health.
we go together? You know, none of those things should be conversations that you're afraid to have if you're not afraid to have sex with that person. Like, that's what blows my mind, is that you could be that comfortable opening your whole body, your whole life up to a person, but you're too afraid to ask them when the last time they went to the doctor and if you can see proof of it.
It's even
Right?
different. I know I was trying to listen in, but I was going through the backwoods and my stuff was dropping, but I heard somebody say something about the dentist. Like, that's a big one for me. Like, if you don't go to the dentist and you got that little stuff that you look like you can scrape off with a little thing on your teeth, you know, and I actually see people, they be like sharp. They like got chains on, just looking good. And then they open their mouth and you're like, where are your priorities? You know what I mean? It's like the small
grills.
yeah, it's the small things that really matters or
But
whatever. So if
that's
you're not
major.
going to the dentist, are you going to get just regular checkups to make sure you're okay health wise? You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the biggest questions. Like, I'm not even thinking about your STD status. If you don't even go to the dentist, we're not even getting that far.
Listen, that's easy said, Blair, but you have so many people who are not even thinking about that. So our goal is to get this as a conversation, because we still shouldn't be having the amount, like the rate of STDs and the rate of AIDS still should not be as high as it is, with us being as knowledgeable as we are about these things. Go ahead, Mika.
But this is the thing here. You can be in a pretty package. You can go to the dentist. You can have veneers. You can be the sexiest man walking the face of the earth and be out here spreading AIDS. So
Facts.
those standards, you really need to know who your person is. You can have those ideas of what's acceptable, what you think is right, but the devil comes in many packages, and he can look and smell, and you could think he is a gift from God, and he is the devil.
So my point was, I have to get past that point first. If you get past that point, then the question about the other stuff, that's not even a thought first. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, oh, once you get there, I'm not gonna
But
get
what
this.
I'm saying is, yeah, I get that. But what I'm saying is that when you first start off, everybody's looking at, if you're saying, okay, I look at your teeth and I notice that, they're not up to the standard I want them to be at. So the devil gonna come to you in the form where the man gonna have some good looking teeth. He gonna have good looking clothes. He gonna have some money. He gonna look like everything that you expect him to look like. But he still can be out here serving bad deeds. And in addition to serving bad deeds, serving you some disease too. So you just have to be careful.
That's
Yeah,
facts.
but
Now he would be treated just like everybody else. Like Michelle said, let's go to the doctor. Like, he's gonna be still treated the same way. You know what I'm saying? They don't get a pass just because they look good. You don't get a pass.
I think we just have to normalize going to the doctor and making that a part of our first date requirements, and being like, okay, we made it past the first dinner date. Now it's time for us to make it past the first MD date. We need to go to the doctor.
I don't think it's more so people don't have that in the back of their head. I feel like it's more, I think it might be rude if I tell you, show me your status and stuff. That's probably for a lot of people, because I'm pretty sure it's in the back of everybody's head. What's your status? But it's like, it's embarrassing. It's offensive for me to ask you, show me the status. But see me, I need those results.
Exactly, because it's not offensive.
It's only offensive to those who are offended.
And now I feel like you guys are offended.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the problem. It's not offensive for people to ask you for some sex, but it's offensive to ask, what do you have? That's an issue. Right. Like, can I see your chart? I've been emailed somebody's medical portal. Let me go through that. I mean, I am just that upfront kind of person, no matter who you are. And so, it does take the courage to have self-worth beyond what is considered to be rude in society, because I'm worth more than what anyone else may think that is considered to be.
That goes back down to yourself, loving yourself first. Because you gotta love yourself and know about yourself before you like. If I don't care about myself, it doesn't matter who come up into it.
Yep.
I don't ask questions if I don't care about myself. But if I care,
I think that's what it's all about. I think as adults, it's all about like just having a conversation, sitting down and say, hey, let's talk about some things or whatever. I see we're getting serious. And in order to do X, Y, and Z, hey, I think that, you know, we both, you're not just like, it sounds crazy if you're just trying to single them out saying, I know I'm straight. I need you to go do it. No, we're in this together. We're planning on doing this together, whatever. Let's both of us get tested because you need to know just as much as I need to know about you, vice versa. You know, it's all about how you package the conversation. You just can't go up to somebody disrespectfully saying, let me see your papers. Then that's when it becomes offensive.
But
Right. That's why that conversation around doing it together is so critical, because I want to show you the same way I want to be shown.
Yeah.
Like it's not me just wanting to see your papers. I want you to see what I got going on too. Like all you got is evidence that I got kids. What else do I have? What else have I been through? You know what I'm saying? Deidre also made a great comment. She said, that's why we must keep in mind it's us as a masterpiece versus giving a piece. And that's respecting who you are is old school thinking, but it's a good mindset to where I first value me, I first love me, I first know me before I'm willing to go and jump into somebody else's face and say, hey, I'm going to share myself with you. I'm going to give myself to you. I'm going to give you this piece of me and have you explore it. Okay, no, before you explore it, I need to know everything about it that there is to know. And that's a big piece of what we need to try to have conversations about that I feel like people are so afraid to talk about. Because even with this, people were like, I don't know about talking about the Yoni. Nervous about it. I'm like, why are you nervous about the great? It's a portal. It is a portal. We are life givers. That's major.
Watch
We
this,
are life
Michelle.
givers.
What about I've seen situations where you in a whole relationship with the guy and then they still bring you stuff home. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like, how often do you ask for those papers? Like, how often do you go and make sure you're good? You know, because you can't trust people these days at all. Can't
That's
trust
major
them.
facts. I think that you should never stop looking into your health. And this is coming from a full-on married woman who is I'm sure having a lot of unprotected sex because I'm married. And that's the expectation. But I still go to the doctor. We still get panels every single year. And would I be devastated if it came back and our panels didn't match? I'm gonna be like, well, I do own a 9mm, so it may be some problems. I'm just saying. But it may be some problems. But those are things that we have to have conversations about.
I remember
I
remember going to the doctor one time. She was like, you sure you want the STD panel? Like, yeah, I still want it. I'm married, but I still want it. I know what I do.
Yes.
I will hope I know.
I only know about me. I don't know about nobody else. And it's not a knock at your spouse. It doesn't mean that your spouse is a bad person. It doesn't mean that your spouse is a cheater. It just means that you will never walk around clueless or uninformed about yourself. Your job first is to take care of yourself. And part of that package is saying, you know what? I don't walk around with rose-colored glasses on to think that everything is all hunky-dory. I'm still a whole human, and I recognize that I can only control one human, and that's myself. So, yeah, you should still be getting, like, there's no stop. You should still be getting those panels well after getting married, well after having kids. All that stuff goes in with it.
I was hoping I would catch the show when you guys talking about the whole Porsha situation or whatever, and it was interesting to hear people's take on it or whatever. And I just want to give my little 2 cents. If I met a person through, just say, Michelle, you know, you introduced me to a person or whatever, like, for me, if their guy is with them, he's off limits to me. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a respect thing. I can't, you know, oh, they're not my friend, date somebody, especially if we done hung out, we done went out to eat and, you know, they invited me to their house or whatever. That's a no-no. That's a hard no. Like, it's too many other men out there for me to go after somebody else's man or ex to be in an awkward situation. Like, that's just, I live by the girl code, like, hands down. And a lot of people don't, you know, and to each his own. And I'm not judging people for what they do, but what she did to me is like, no matter how you package it. You was all over that girl house in her swimming pool, eating her food, sitting at her dinner table. That's wrong. I love Porsha to death, but I cannot back her on this.
It's an interesting take, because it does go back to what you believe in. Yours is just girl code, so that's pretty much any girl, and it's gonna be hard, Blair, because there'll be lots of people that you will meet as our circles grow and things like that. That will be people that have no effect or affect in your life whatsoever. So that's a very powerful code to hold on to, because that just it has such a far reach.
Yeah, because I have a cousin
It's
who
levels. It just depends. It
was
depends. I'm sorry, Queer. It's just levels. It depends. Now, if it's to the point where I've just met you one time, hey, how you doing? And that's that. Okay, I don't know you. But Michelle, if you've introduced me to one of your girlfriends or whatever, and I've gone over her house and we've hung out and all that kind of stuff, that's kind of I'm gonna question it and I'm gonna look at that situation like be very skeptical about it or whatever. It's gonna have to be a lot of hard thinking for me to be like, I'm gonna move forward. It won't be easy for me to say, okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and talk to her ex or whoever. Especially if he was there and they were together at the time and I met them together. That's weird.
Right. What were you gonna say, Quia?
oh, I was just saying, well, I know well, I have a cousin who moved to an area and then she ended up dating this guy not knowing that he used to date our male's cousin wife. But what do?
It's a hard
We're
one.
and we are friends with her. She cool, but that was before you got married, honey. You married now. I don't think that she should be worried about what her ex is doing with someone else.
At all. I also think that we unfairly place a lot of the onus on the woman when wasn't the guy there too?
Yeah.
Didn't he meet Porsha equally? Isn't her husband his friend? Like,
Mhm.
where's all the backlash or the hate or the it's such a gender bias. Like, there should be that much
Yeah.
energy directed towards him for him being foul for what he did. And we never call guys out for doing stuff like that ever. Guys don't have that kind of code. My husband made a statement last week, I think, or maybe in the week before last. He was like, unless you got papers or children, you don't own nobody. Like,
Mhm.
What? I'm trying to
you don't
remember.
really have a stake in it. What you say?
I'm trying to remember what show was it. It's one of these reality shows or something that came on, and the dude was like really like pissed off that the other guy had like took his seconds. He had moved on with somebody else, but he was just really like
Love and hip
not feeling it.
It sounds like a love and hip hop plot. It really
I
does.
can't remember which one it was, but it was just like, dude, you mad, but you moved on. Like, I don't understand.
And I don't understand how people can have like a whole mate, like a whole wife, a whole fiance, a whole something else, and be worried about what you doing over here. Like, bruh,
That
we
to me,
good.
right? Once you married, to me, you can't worry about what your exes are doing. That because to me that
Right.
signifies your heart is still vested somewhere, and it's supposed to be all on
That
your husband or
that's
all on your
right.
wife.
that's
Oh, why are you worried about who that person dating?
That part,
Right.
I think people miss it so hard, and I'm big on. I know we never gonna have equality and equal treatment in all areas. I get that, but I hate the way I've seen like nobody put his name on CNN. Her name is the one blasted on CNN and all the blogs and all that kind of stuff. Like I don't even know his name, and that's crazy
Smiling.
because it's
It
like
goes back to, you know what, Michelle? It's just the world. It goes back to even when our grandmothers were growing up. Like the men can have multiple kids and step outside the house and they're not looked at a certain way, but the women are looked at a certain way. That's just how society views women. We're supposed to be the classy ones. We're supposed to be the ones with the tact and have all the morals or whatever, and the men are allowed to have multiple wives. Look at over in the Middle East. When I was in LUD, the women couldn't even look up at another man. They couldn't even speak to him eye to eye. But a man was able to have multiple wives, and even now he's able to have multiple wives as long as he's able to afford them. So that's society putting that stamp on how women are. So that's why in his culture, the guy's from Africa. So in their culture, that's what they do. They're allowed to marry multiple women, and they're not looked at. They can marry sisters and cousins or whatever. That's just what it is.
I'm not against that.
If they go on sister wives, they can just
right. I'm not against that. My biggest thing is just I don't feel like anybody, like everybody and their mama. We even weighing in on it. Everybody and their mama done weighed in on how she opted to go about her own situation. She may be subscribing to, I will be one of many wives of this person. That's her business. But why do we make it? Deidre said, so glad that's in Africa. Why do we make it out to be like this woman is a bad guy for a person that she says, this is not my friend? If any one of y'all be like, that ain't my friend.
Yeah, she said that was her friend in other episodes, and she introduced her to the cast. You were brought on by Porsha, like, this is my friend.
Yeah, with her little name thing, it says Fallon, Porsha's friend at the bottom.
That makes sense. Brought on, so. That makes sense. Okay, I get that part now. So now that does feel like a little bit of a violation.
The friendship.
No. But again, when they were introduced and she went to the house, she had never been to the house before. How the hell we friends? I don't know where you live. I don't know your man. I don't know your dog. I don't know nothing about you. We ain't friends.
Right. So she should have said associate, but she had to say friend for the show.
That's why that friend thing can be very, very gray. That can be very gray. And Mika's talking about it's little bitty. But I think that if we don't do a better job of delineating who these people are, that's when those kind of lines get crossed, because I don't ever have to work. My friends come and stay with me in my house. I don't put my husband out so my friends can come stay with me, because I'm not worried about anything happening with my friends and my husband. That has never crossed my mind.
You're not coming to my house if you're not my friend.
That part. You can't come up here. You cannot.
And I'm not coming to your house either if we're not friends.
At all.
So that, again, why I think it was staged. This is all Porsha about to have a spin-off show, and this is what it's gonna be.
Could be.
Listen, that very easily could be.
Season 13 was whack. Season 13 was whack. They gotta get
I didn't watch.
They gotta find a way to make
it.
The highlight was what, Bolo? That was the highlight of the whole thing.
Like, and it wasn't even that good.
Yeah, so
I don't know nothing about that. I found it very interesting, because I was like, why is Porsha Williams trending? Like, what did Porsha do? You know, it usually be something silly, but I looked at it and I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Very interesting. But we have to be in a place to where we're okay. Hold on. Sequester said, Tammy Roman said that the reality shows are scripted. Sometimes they hire people and pick someone that is already a cast member to attach to a person as a way of introducing them to the public. Yeah. So different people that's trying to get on, they'll go make a cameo, and then all of a sudden some drama occurs, and now they're affiliated with the cast. But we have to stop getting stuck into this, because they've been doing this now well over 15 years, 14 years of tomfoolery with all this craziness they have going on. And it just keeps recycling the same thing, because we've seen these things before. We've seen people dating the same person.
Some of it is real. Some of it is real, because I'm friends with some of these ladies, and I know firsthand that it's real drama. Some of it is scripted, but I know some of it is real too.
But what I believe is that it's manipulated. Like, I believe, like, say for instance, you, me, and Michelle have a discussion, and after the discussion, I have a separate sidebar with you. And then later on, you and Michelle have a sidebar and y'all discuss it too. And then later on, we talk about it as a group, everybody involved. And I'm like, well, hold on. That ain't what you said when I talked to you. And then it's like, well, this is. Then you got producers in the background. It's like, hey, Michelle and DeBlair had a conversation about you. And they said such and such. And you're like, wait a minute, what now? And then they do the same thing to them. And then it's like, oh, they're not really my friends. They over here talking about me. They keeping up this kind of stuff. And then it turns into this big old thing that was orchestrated by people who all they got to do is just put a little nugget of doubt in somebody's mind to make them believe that somebody is not on the up and up, and then it turns into. But the thing is, that's why this season was so boring, because we've seen it so many times. It's just not. It
Right.
doesn't land in the same way that it's landed all the other times, and then the cast in general, they're boring. So
Right.
as much as
Tequesta just
people,
said something good. She said Fallon's husband, I don't know if I'm saying it right, Fallon or Phelan. Fallon's husband just wrote an entire dedication to her about her being his soulmate on January 21st on his IG. We are now in May and he's madly in love with another woman. Sound scripted to you?
No, it sounds real life.
it sounds like a man.
You said sound about right? It sounds like a man. And then Tequesta also said Nene told us seasons ago that these girls would do anything for a peach and a Bravo chick.
Exactly. And that was my point. Like, everybody keeps saying, you know, like, everybody had issues with Nene and was like, oh, I'm ready for Nene to be gone. Nene to go. But Nene is the glue that brought the drama in a way, and her delivery with her punchlines is what helped to keep the show running smoothly. To be honest, it's boring.
I haven't watched since season 1.
The thing is,
with She by
Nene's
Sheree.
delivery. Well, Nene's delivery has not been like malicious, like negative, as in my opinion, as compared to like Kenya's delivery is like mean girl energy, and it's like, no,
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I just think it's interesting to have all of these different things. I wish, and we've talked about this before, and I know it's not going to happen because nobody wants to see Black women talking about happy-go-lucky things or talking about real issues without it being drama, such as something as a Tribe of Dope Black women. If anybody want to pick us up, we ain't got no drama over here, but we happy to get a check. We'll take a check, but no drama. But I think it's important for us to have spaces where we could talk about these different things without it being drama filled. I feel like we could have all these different things. Then Tequesta also said, remember Phaedra said ATL is full of rich Africans and Nigerians. Blair, is ATL full of rich Africans and Nigerians? Blair's not saying anything, so her silence is going to be a consensus. I remember there being a large population of African men in Atlanta when I lived there.
There's a lot of everything in Atlanta.
That is so true. Truer words have never been spoken. There's a lot of everything. And I mean that in every sense of the word in Atlanta. But I want to thank y'all. Y'all got some closing thoughts about Yoni Health. Did we get our questions answered tonight about Yoni Health? If anything, I want to make we need more questions. We need to have more discussions. I think we need to talk more about just being open about it and asking those questions and not being afraid when you have people who have studied and researched and did the work. Stephanie is not just the creator of She Blends Natural. She's also a nurse. She specialized in labor and delivery, but she's also a doula, which is something that we have to really promote more in our community because those women advocate for us. They advocate for healthy childbirth among Black women, among mothers, period, not just Black women. But having a doula increases your chances of a healthy childbirth. It decreases your chances of being left to your own device. Go ahead, or the other drama dealing with childbirth.
Childbirth trauma, it decreases it. Like a lot of people, have trauma during birth, and it's more so in the hospital setting because you don't really hear somebody that had a childbirth at the house had a horrible experience. I'm never gonna have it. They talk about it like it's the best thing that ever happened. You're looking at these people like you're crazy. You did it naturally, and you get looked bad at, But in the hospital, I feel like that's where all the trauma and I'm never having a child again. This was a horrible experience. I can't tell you. And you had the drugs, you had the epidural, you had everything at the hospital, and that's where the trauma really lies.
I think we just have to be okay with having conversations and talking about it. I know Stephanie is always down. She'll be like, "Yeah, I'm cool. I'll come on." So we have to also. I want to be able to. Maybe we'll have to do it where it's not on a live session, where we do it in a private Zoom and have conversations, so women feel more open to ask the questions that they need to ask, because there is somebody sitting at home right now, or somebody watching this broadcast after the fact is saying, I really wish I knew this, or I really wish I could ask this question, because they're genuinely not sure about it. And we want to make sure we're normalizing conversations about vaginal health, around, what to do if you're not sure. It's people out there that can answer these questions. It's other questions related to Yoni health that affect your mental health and wellness. We need to talk about the fact that taking care of your Yoni is a part of self-care, the same way you should be getting rest and relaxation, eating healthy, and working out. All of those things go hand in hand. So it's important for us to create a space. Our job, our goal here, the whole purpose of a tribe of dope Black women is to bring women together from different walks of life to have these hard conversations, or to have these rooms where we could talk about things that aren't normally talked about. So I'm glad to be able to have each one of you out here tonight to ask these questions, to talk about these different things. Stephanie, thank you so much for taking time away from your baby and to join us tonight. Blair, thank you for tuning in. Mika, Quia, I appreciate you. D, who's been holding down the questions in the back, y'all. Y'all don't know she backstage handling things right now. But thank you all so much for just participating and being a part of this panel. We are going to keep moving forward, asking questions, having hard discussions, and just really trying to promote Black women being healthy on all counts, y'all. If you don't know what you need to do, ask somebody. You got a sister who probably been through it. Quinn, that was your topic today. We're not getting it out the mud with somebody that already been through that. Tell them, Quinn. I don't want to summarize it wrong. Tell them.
Oh, I just stated that, like, oftentimes people say, well, I went through it, so they just gonna have to go through it like it's a rite of passage for things, even though we may have the tools to assist them, as they may not have within them what we had in order to be able to actually positively migrate through it. And so why not help them instead of saying, like, oh, they'll just have to go through it. So help a person out, help them help themselves.
That's right. That's right. Gone are the days are leaving our sisters to their own devices to have to deal with trauma, to have to deal with things that you've already been through, you've already experienced. You know the outcome, and you can help somebody. We all about helping somebody going forward. So, y'all, I've enjoyed you. Thank you so much. Everybody, make sure y'all tune back in to A Tribe of Dope Black Women next Wednesday. If you have not downloaded the Mindfully Fashion app, go do that. If you have not subscribed to the Blair Fitness channel on IG, go do that so you can get those quickies in. Tamika is still loving on all the crazy people of the world because she loves me every day, so I'm grateful for that. And Miss Stephanie from She Blends Natural is getting Yoni's together. Okay? Trust me. From a very sensitive Yoni, from my Yoni to yours, baby, go get you some of the products if you know you ain't right. Get yourself together. Love on yourself in that way.
Had our little conversation. I'll tell you about my little soul.
Yes. Yes, we love that poo-poo soap. Listen, I email her every month, be like, hey, have you made a new batch? Go on, get your girl right now. So listen. They do. They sell out because I be buying about 10 and 15 bars at a time. Yes, it's that serious. So I also give them away as gifts too. I'll be like, let me send this random poom poom bar through the mail. And my friend's like, why did you send me a vagina in the mail? What is that? It's soap. It's soap, y'all.
Wait till Father's Day. I got another treat.
Ooh. Is it for the fellas?
It might be.
Uh-oh. Y'all go follow her page because she be posting some good stuff and good deals. So y'all check it out. But no matter what you do, no matter what you got going on, by all means, protect your energy and protect your peace. Y'all have a good night. Ladies, hang back for one moment. Bye, y'all.